While you were talking about that, it reminded me of the time you played in a celebrity baseball game in Seattle at the All-Star game, and
Yeah,
my dad played in it,
2001.
and you ran through a wall.
I also gave you and your brother candy. You guys were like 13, 14, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yep.
Knew who your dad was. I didn't know about you guys yet. But yeah, I snuck you guys candy. Then in the game itself, Alvin Davis, former Mariner great, crushes a home run. This is softball we're playing. And they would have like a temporary fence. So it's only like a 220-foot home run or whatever. His is almost going to the real fence at 3-something. I think I'm pulling it back. I'm running for it. And I slam into the temporary aluminum fence that the kids are holding up. Your dad comes running over. I'm on the ground now. And he says, "Are you okay?" And I just looked at him. I said, "I'm not well."
Welcome to the Green Light Podcast presented by BetMGM. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code GREENLIGHT. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. If that bet loses, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just make sure you use bonus code GREENLIGHT when you sign up.
Just think about you.
Hey, Gretchen.
Just think about you. Hold on, let's get to a good part. We traded songs in the car. You were playing like new wave avant-garde shit. Admittedly, I didn't know well. And then when you liked the song, you'd like point at your stereo, and I knew that meant something to you. Think about you, baby. All right, that's from Hotter Than July, October of 1980. That was a big month for me. That album came out. I ushered the Ali-Holmes fight, and I ruined my ankle for life, all in the same month.
Where do we start? Ali-Holmes?
Hopefully we were rolling, because as
we are rolling.
What that was.
Tell me about Ali-Holmes.
Walk-on music. Nobody.
Tell me about Ali-Holmes.
Okay, so the football players at UNLV used to get to usher the prize fights. This guy named Dennis Frinfrock, he was with the university, and he had a side gig where he had a company that helped usher big events, right? Bring in the ushers, make it happen. So if you're first or second string, you got the cool seats. Like I'm down there with Jack Nicholson. I escorted Nabila Khashoggi, the daughter of Adnan Khashoggi, got a $100 bill for doing that. Thought I was the richest man in Vegas, and I was. And then if you were third string or like a walk-on, whatever, you'd got the worst seats. So like after I was done playing, I was up in the rafters. I got like, people give you a tip of a handy wipe. That was your tip. Where if you're down on the cool section, you get a $100 bill. But yeah, Ali-Holmes was amazing. I was asked to help bring Ali down to the ring, like be part of his big entourage. So first I was kind of mad because I'm like, what? I'm not even getting to see the undercards. I'm losing out on tips. But you know, hang out here when it happens, it happens. And it was insane. It was like a sea of people. There must have been 150 people. And I'm like swimming through the crowd trying to get the girl I'm supposed to escort to her seat. And it was electric. Ali was over the hill at that point, sadly. Holmes, I thought, took it easy on him. I ended up just kneeling next to Jack Nicholson and watching the fight. That was my moment.
What? Any dialogue between you and Jack?
You're really good in that one movie that time. Like, yeah, that was he's like, shut the fuck up, kid. He's like, yeah, he won.
I think we talked Jack in my car. Jack movies.
Yeah, we talked about Chinatown. 5 Easy Pieces.
Yep. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's.
Now, when you say car, of course, we're talking about your truck, which is mega level size. I mean, you have to get a ladder. You need a ladder to get in that thing.
My truck is huge. It's got a kayak on the back of it today, which reminds me that the picture on your Wikipedia page, Kenny,
Yeah.
is of you kayaking with a helmet on in McCovey Cove in 2007 with a giant Chevrolet branded baseball floating.
That was for the home run derby and the All-Star game at San Francisco. That's our cat Walter. He's going to knock over the food there.
Yeah, what is the deal with that cat, Kenny? You sent me a video of that cat eating something. What's his deal?
Minnow. Well, Gretchen took him to the veterinarian today, and they said that he's too fat. He's like 4 or 5 pounds overweight. And so I was telling him how sorry I am, and then I snuck him a minnow anyway. He loves minnows.
Kenny, 5 pounds overweight. What's it, a 20-pound cat?
Yeah, he's like 25% over 25%. But they just said to exercise him more. But you can't take him outside. He'll get murdered by a hawk. We have hawks that search the property. He's never been outside by accident.
We got a buddy who has a small dog, and the dog has to wear a raptor shield. So it goes outside, and the hawks don't pick the dog up.
This is sad, but borderline. I'm not going to say it's funny. It's sad. Let's just say it's sad. Gretchen rescued a bunny. Well, actually, a local kid found it and knew that Gretchen would be the one to nurse it back to health. She's everything but breastfeeding it. She's taking it, just getting that bunny back in order. And then she built a pen for it outside, and this fucking hawk came and killed it. No. See, you guys both laugh. What a couple of dick. You guys are terrible people.
How do you know it's dead?
She took it to the veterinarian, and they praised her for how well she had taken care of the bunny, but they said it's time to let it go.
Damn.
But I hate the hawks. We're in West Hartford. Like, we're 4 miles from downtown Hartford. It's not like we're out in the sticks, but we are, because where we are, right up against the woods, right up against the walking trail. We had bears in our backyard last week. So we get it all. But the hawks, I'm at war with the hawks because they killed our bunny and they threaten our kittens and our dogs.
Kind of hard to go to war with the hawks. They're a protected species, Kenny.
If it comes into my yard, those rules are out. There are no rules anymore. There's no laws. There's no rules.
No, you're right about that. You're right.
What's great is our president's in great health because he won club championships. Did you read that one?
I saw 6'3", 224. The guy's in perfect health.
Yeah, for years to come.
For years to come. Kenny, you're here to talk about Kenny Mayne's Wiffle Ball, which I conquered my fear of fubo. Hadn't been able to break into that thing. It's like fucking Fort Knox. Borrowed Reed's password and watched your wonderful documentary. What are you going to be able to tell us about it? Do you like to share too much, or
you know what?
A little bit for the imagination, for the perspective?
Sign up for fubo. I'm not talking about my goddamn movie because you need $9.95 a month. No, I'll tell you anything you want. And we keep getting, when we try to watch something, it makes us go through like a lot of hoops now. Like even HBO, which changed its name to Max. What's that about? We wanted to watch White Lotus, and it took us 2 weeks to re-log in. Like every week we're banging. And I think it's a password check just to make sure you don't give your password to 1,000 people. Maybe, I don't know. But it's an impediment to our viewing pleasure. Wiffle Ball was the question. So I made a movie called Wiffle Ball. It's about a day from 1989. Ken Griffey Jr. and I threw wiffle balls that day, and I held onto the tape for all these years. I ran into him a couple years ago, and he brought up wiffle ball. I'm like, if one of the greatest players in the history of baseball is still thinking about the day we threw wiffle balls together, I might as well go find out what the hell happened, right? Yeah. And I've held all these years that I beat him by 1 mile per hour. I still think it's true, actually. And we go to find the tape. It's in a garage. It's in the basement. I've got it. But it was really hard to transfer it because it was on what was called Beta SP, which is like old broadcast tape that TV stations used to use, right? But nobody uses it anymore. So I had to find somebody with the machinery that I could stick the tape in and find out what happened that day. And I found that guy in Seattle. We interviewed Ken Burns. We got Pearl Jam music, The Head and the Heart. Sam Lachow, the rapper. We got the president of Wiffle Ball. We got a University of Washington professor. Everybody trying to figure out what happened that day, who threw the ball faster, right? And ultimately, it looks like on tape that we tied. This is a big spoiler alert.
That's what it looks like.
But I still think the eye test, you tell me. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know
like
if he was throwing all the way.
That's the thing, dude. Like Ken Griffey Jr. looks so cool and effortless throwing that wiffle ball. Well, it turns out, spoiler alert, it's not even a wiffle ball.
Yeah. In my head, it was a wiffle ball, but it was really like a 1989 pickleball. Pickleball was a thing back then. People don't know that.
Congratulations to my wife, Meg, who won the tournament this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Girls Club, yeah.
Good job.
Beat some older men. No offense. But she beat my primary care doctor, who's now gonna misdiagnose me.
Oh my God. Is it like Dr. James Andrews of Birmingham, Alabama, or is it
No. So Macon's here too, and I know I want to talk about what you guys talked about in your 4 minutes.
We're gonna talk about it. But wait a minute. There's more to wiffle ball. So it's on fubo.
I want to ask a wiffle ball related question to
sure,
set
fine. Fire away. What do you got?
The background is you grow up near the Kingdom and you're playing wiffle ball every day, right? So, Macon, did you have a wiffle ball like experience when you were a kid? Did you do any bat and ball activity?
No. The only ball activity I had was against a brick wall. We had a garage. The exterior was bricks, and I was an only child. No, I didn't really venture out to play any sort of organized sport or sport with other children. I would play wall ball against myself, which if I don't catch it cleanly, I have to drop it and then run up and touch the wall. But there's nobody else to pick up the ball and throw it at the wall, so I never got out.
One of you is going to win.
Right. I never lost. I would draw a little circle on the garage and I would throw a 9-inning game. Sometimes I would walk in a run and lose.
That's terrible.
I would play one on nobody sometimes and announce, like pretend I was the Sonics playing the Knicks or whatever and just talk it through. You know, why not? But I was not an only child. It's just
I would talk it through. Yeah, I would talk it through out there, and I got as many game-winning shots as I wanted to get the job done. Usually
my friend Mark Sansevier broke Babe Ruth's home run record in one summer. We kept stats. We would line the field with sugar or flour. My sister would sing the national anthem. We'd let off fireworks, and we would play from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. with breaks for food and swimming. And kept stats. So he literally hit like 840 home runs that summer.
That's incredible. We play with a tennis ball.
That's
tennis
fun.
Ball and metal bats. And if we hit them over this hedge there, it was a home run. But my buddy, shout out to Jeff Haas in the neighborhood, cut a baseball diamond into his backfield.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was a good setup.
Jeff Haas.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff Haas.
Hey,
so where were you on wiffle ball?
Well, during this holiday season that just passed, I was daydreaming what's other jobs I can make up or have more Zoom calls and have things fall through. And I decided I have 30 minutes of stand-up that would precede the 30-minute movie. And I made sort of a hybrid stand-up / film festival. I've done it once in Las Vegas, Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club. And I'm doing it again. I don't know when this runs. I hope before the thing I'm talking about. Right now it is.
It's going to run this week.
God damn it, it should. It's an early promotion. Today. Yeah. So April 24th, New York City at a place called The Pit, the People's Improv Theater. I'm going to walk out and say funny shit for a half hour. Then I'm showing my movie. And then everybody goes home.
Now, do you need any enhancement before you go out on stage?
No, just the opposite. I told Gretchen, I don't want nothing. There's nobody smoking weed. We're just like, I want to be clear of thought.
Definitely no weed.
Zero.
I would think like maybe a whiskey take the edge.
Maybe one shot. Yeah, I could see one shot of tequila or something like that, but I'm not going to go out there drunk or high. Like, no. Like, I'm serious.
Will you work the crowd, Kenny?
If they heckle me, I will. But no, that's not the goal. I have a mission. I know what I'm doing. I have a plan. and if I stumble through it, if they interrupt me or if I fuck it up, then I'll improvise. But it ain't a lot different than what we're doing right now. It's just that you're on a platform and you're the only one, and they're all looking at you.
Yeah, you're Macon playing fucking wall ball.
Kenny, can you imagine trying to solve a murder before DNA evidence?
Come
before
on.
this forensic evidence. It's like
Good point.
It's like one of your detectives come over, says, "Hey Sarge, there's a pool of the murderer's blood over there. Oh, gross. Let me get back to my hunch."
Fucking idiot.
We go to bed most nights watching a crime show. Gretchen, I love her. She can't sleep without, what's the guy's name? The old white guy that looks like me? Like
Keith Morrison.
Morrison, yeah. The guy with the
Keith Morrison.
Keith
What's his
Morrison.
name? Keith Morrison?
Yeah. On
yeah.
Dateline. He solves all the crimes.
I don't know that he looks like you.
It was
Is
just
he,
his old white gray hair. I just meant that. But
Yeah.
and I find it strange, and she's like the most loving, sweetest, loves animals. She volunteers at a petting or at a rescue zoo, and yet she needs crime to go to sleep. There's something
They
there.
say that's like a psychopathic tendency. There was like some study about that, Gretchen. I'm sorry to say. I'm sure you're not. You're probably the outlier, but
I don't do that.
they say that if you wind down to murder mysteries, it's not good.
Yeah.
But they are calming. I used to, when I was on the road, Kenny, me and my roommate Cliff Ryan, the night before games, we used to fall asleep watching Lock Up Raw. You know Lock Up Raw?
I've heard of it.
It's basically just prison chronicles.
Yeah.
And then we'd fall asleep.
My dad was a trooper.
State trooper?
New York State.
Oh, see, there you go.
She also thinks she can solve any crime. Something will happen in the news, and she'll have a theory, like a hunch.
A hunch.
She'll have a hunch.
Macon, can you remind the listener where that came from? Because this is what your fifth pass at this thing.
Say again.
Close.
Well, it may not be original. Why do you have to say that?
Because I just want to take the. Never mind.
The way I said it, I didn't say it like the comedian said it. I didn't.
I just don't know that Kenny knew the bit.
I don't think I did, but I laughed anyway.
Well, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's just a funny joke.
On its own, it's a joke. Yeah.
And you got it, right? You got the joke?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good joke. Never
About
mind.
DNA and the hunch. Yeah, I like it, but I don't know where it came from.
No, never mind. His head.
Okay.
It came from his head. Kenny, why didn't you call John Brinkus
For what purpose?
to find out who threw the wiffle ball harder? You were eyeballing it.
Oh, you lost me. I don't know if we're calling about the murder or what was happening right now.
No, John Brinkus would be totally useless.
That's pretty solid. I like that one. I think the eye test says I threw faster, and I think my cameraman double punched. People in the TV industry know about when the camera person hits once, oops, twice, and nothing's rolling.
Mm-hmm.
I know a guy who knows a guy who interviewed Bill Clinton right after he left the presidency, his first big interview. And they're in Portland. He was there for some reason, and they're going to get the big 1 hour interview. Nobody else had gotten him since he left. Double punched, and he leaves. They thank him. Thank you, sir. And they look at the tape, and nothing. Just color bars. Just they got nothing.
No.
Yeah. He was executed.
Oh.
Hey, Make, did you ever have a moment like Kenny had with Ken Griffey Jr., like Wiffle Ball with Ken Griffey Jr.? Was that like a birthday party with Tiki and Rondé?
Oh yeah, maybe so. What comes to mind more than that is what Kenny just said about the Bill Clinton interview. I've interviewed famous basketball coach Dave Lato of Northeastern, DePaul, UConn assistant, and Virginia fame.
Yeah.
And I was asking him about Ed Davis, this recruit out of Richmond. I'd asked Ed Davis, hey, this brand new arena, this John Paul Jones Arena in Charlottesville, Virginia, will that affect your decision at all? He said, nah. And I said, no. And he said, nah. Anyway, I asked Dave Lato a bunch of questions about this NBA Top 100 camp, and we went for probably 5 minutes. It wasn't a terribly long period of time. and then I had double tap. Is that
Double
is that what
punch, yeah.
it is? Double punch. I was like, oh, and I was probably 20. It's like, Coach, would you mind if we ran that back and did that just one more time? And he said, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, Coach.
Oh, that's tough.
Appreciate you. Thanks. And then I paraphrased what he had to say on the radio show.
That's tough, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, Reed, are you here, Cowboy Reed?
Yo.
What do you think the all-time worst moment on this podcast was?
Are you trying to say we're living in one? Like
No, because we're talking about the lowest points of our journalistic careers. Well, not yours, Kenny. You haven't shared one yet.
There definitely been a couple when we thought we were recording or it got wiped right after. I will say, I think, Kenny, the last time you were on the show, for some reason I'm remembering that you joined the Zoom and then the microphone wouldn't work, whether it was couldn't join or whatever. And it was the interview we were scheduled was 3 p.m. And I don't think we started, recording till 7 or 8 that night. It was all afternoon.
His backyard.
Yeah.
I was committed to the project.
Yep.
Well,
and hey, Kenny, to your credit, like great attitude the whole time. You're like, no big deal. We'll get it figured out. We'll record when we record.
I think I remember that now. That was during my heyday period when people called me all the time. Gretchen calls it my Kenny Mayne ego tour, the summer of 21. Yeah, I was
ego tour,
big commodity back then. Yeah, because I was being interviewed all the time about why I left and what's next and blah blah blah. Those were the days.
It's like a. I wouldn't say it's a farewell tour because you got April 24th. Kenny's going to be at the Pit in New York, and you got to watch Kenny Mayne's Wiffle Ball on Fubo. I just want to ask you this question because the Kingdom came up a couple times. Is that do you realistically think the Kingdom should have stuck around longer, or was that place falling apart?
It was time to go. It was cool when they built it. Now you got to remember, we had the Seattle Pilots, who are now the Milwaukee Brewers. They were in Seattle for one season, the summer of '69. I was 9 years old. Tommy Harper led the American League in stolen bases with 73. Little side note, shout out Tommy Harper. We had Tommy Davis, the National League batting champion. Joe Schultz was the manager. Jim Bouton, who would later write Ball 4, and I'm glad you didn't take it personally. And there was a lot of lore about that last place team, but it was a terrible stadium. They were playing at Seattle 6 Stadium, and it was a thing where all the teams were complaining about, we have to go to this terrible park, and the league was looking at it, it's kind of sideways. So they stole the team. They sold him to Bud Selig, who later be the commissioner. He started them in Milwaukee and called them the Brewers, right? So Slade Gorton, our attorney general, later to be a U.S. senator, sued Major League Baseball for stealing our team without giving us the chance to build a new stadium. And in the meantime, then they built the Kingdom. So when the Kingdom came about, it was actually kind of a cool, because it's stormy weather up there and it's nice to be indoors and all that. But it was also terrible at the same time. It was great for football. It was weird for baseball, although that is the place where we beat the Yankees, the famous play where Edgar Martinez hits the ball and Ken Griffey slides in to beat the Yankees in '95.
Was that to go to the ALCS?
Yeah. So that was a big moment for them, finally making the playoffs and this big moment. But in smaller events, like they had truck pulls there and they had kind of second-rate concerts. They had everything there. And sometimes on a small crowd for a baseball game, you could hear the electric noise from the lights above. It wasn't a great place.
I like that stuff though. I like the vintage. I don't like indoor baseball. I don't like indoor football, but I definitely don't like indoor baseball.
How about Bo Jackson and Bosworth? That happened in that stadium. Bo Jackson throwing out Harold Reynolds from the wall happened in that stadium. So there were many kind of iconic things. The Seahawks winning their first playoff game there, Mariners the '95 game. But it was time to tear it down. So they imploded it. I think it's 25 years ago now.
What did we were just together again for the people listening.
With Kenny this hat. I'm wearing the hat right here.
Co-host of the Waterboys Charity Challenge. Kenny was incredible. And we'll talk about golf a little bit here in a second. But you told me a story about throwing something off the Space Needle.
True story.
Yeah. Can you Can you fire that one back up?
So Lenny Wilkens was my favorite player. He was the coach of our 1979 champion team. But before that, he was a player, right? And a player coach at some point. And Sonics traded him to Cleveland for Butch Beard. All of us who love Lenny were so mad. I'm like 11 or 12 years old at this point. So Cleveland comes to Seattle to play the Sonics. Everybody's going to go to the Coliseum and root for Lenny against our home team because we're showing our appreciation, right? Me and a couple of friends go. We only have like $10. This is back, we lived like 20 miles south of Seattle. One parent would drop you off. One parent would pick you up at 11:15 on Mercer. And we had not enough money to buy scalp tickets to get into this sold out game. So we had enough money to go to the top of the Space Needle. I decided I would throw a t-shirt off the Space Needle as a protest of the Lenny Wilkens trade. Not everybody understood the subtleties of my protest. I don't know if it was conveyed perfectly, but
No.
the funny thing is I got the t-shirt back because one of the guys didn't go up. There were four of us. One guy, for whatever reason, we could literally see him chasing my t-shirt on the ground. I recovered the t-shirt. I told Lenny the story years later. He said, other than winning the title, that night was the greatest experience of his NBA career. To feel a whole city came out just for me to say, we appreciate, we're mad that you left, but eventually he would come back and eventually we'd win the title.
Well, we just had the Luka deal coming back to Dallas,
Yeah.
and that didn't feel like as warm. It felt, well, it was, the wound was too like open. You know what I mean?
Well, no one threw any t-shirts off any tall
There
buildings.
was
in
nowhere to
Dallas,
throw
so
a t-shirt off.
the
Yeah,
two
there was
things
nowhere to
aren't even the same.
What a protest. Did you see in Seattle sports-related culture, Ken Griffey Jr. taking pictures at the Masters? He's a photographer.
I know the guy who trained him, Scott Clark, good friend of mine. He kind of like showed, he's a great photographer, and he kind of taught Griffey how to do it. And interestingly enough, Randy Johnson,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
also, there's something about photography. And Mike McCready of Pearl Jam just opened an art studio. A lot
Did
of
he
stuff going on right now,
Okay.
currently.
All right.
When my daughter got her permit, Riley, she was at a four-way intersection and she didn't know when to go. And so she just went slowly through.
Yeah.
And she says, lots of activity is taking place currently. And she just kept slowly, and we made it. We didn't get hit. I told you that because it reminded me of that.
I had to take the driver's ed test twice, actually 3 times. I was having trouble with the concept of yielding on a left turn, the left turns.
Oh, that's a tough one. Mine, I got a 90. They took off 10 points. I did the parallel park. I'm one of the greatest parallel parkers in the United States.
Really?
Yeah, I'll put it against anybody. I'll go up against anybody.
Could you beat a H2 with the crab wheels? Did you see that? Could you beat? Is that a bridge too far? Is that when it becomes less artistic, when the Hummer can park sideways?
I don't like automated. I have buttons in my new car where I can have it do stuff for me, and I don't want to. I don't want to give up. I don't want to do AI because I have too much pride in my writing. So I go, fuck you, AI. I'm writing my own stuff. So I parallel park. Are you not supposed to swear on the show? You guys both look so pained when I did that.
No, not at all. No, not at all. I'm with you.
So I parallel park, and then the guy says, great job. You can proceed. And I took off, and I'm still in reverse. And I went flying backwards, slammed on the brakes. Fortunately, I didn't hit anybody. minus 10, but I did get my license.
Only minus 10.
I know he should have failed me, really, right?
You should have been in prison.
Killed somebody.
That's unbelievable. What a travesty.
Hey, Will Blackman got a hold of me, and I sent him. We can expose this right now.
Yeah, shout out to Will Blackman, dude.
He's got Will Blackman, former tackle football player, who I once threw a touchdown in a so-called celebrity game while he was on a cell phone. He didn't know we were snapping that quick. Go. And he takes off and he's talking to whoever and he just reaches out like this. But he has made a wine crafted from grapes in oaken barrels. And we had this great discussion. It was good wine, right? It was good, a hearty something Cabernet.
Yeah, it was a cab blend is what I heard.
And he threw out the notion that I should do something funny for his brand. So I supplied him with the info. It's on you, Will. We're waiting on you right now.
Waiting on you, Will. While you were talking about that, it reminded me of the time you played in a celebrity baseball game in Seattle at the All-Star game, and
Yeah,
my dad played in it,
2001.
and you ran through a wall.
I also gave you and your brother candy. You guys were like 13, 14, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yep.
Knew who your dad was. I didn't know about you guys yet.
Yep.
And I was sneaking children candy. It's sort of like when I volunteered, like when I was like a school chaperone for a field trip.
Yeah.
And I would go rogue and take my group, hey, let's go have fun. Let's go eat slushy pups or whatever. But yeah, I snuck you guys candy. Then in the game itself, Alvin Davis, former Mariner great, crushes a home run. This is softball we're playing. And they would have like a temporary fence. So it's only like a 220-foot home run or whatever. His is almost going to the real fence at 3-something. I think I'm pulling it back. I'm running for it. And I slam into the temporary aluminum fence that the kids are holding up. Your dad comes running over. I'm on the ground now. And he says, "Are you okay?" And I just looked at him. I said, "I'm not well."
Not well, dude.
I remember the moment. But I stayed in the game.
That's so good.
Jessica Biel was on our team.
Yeah, Summer Catch fame.
I was supposed to make sure everybody got in. How do I forget about Jessica Biel? Somehow I leave her out. Otis, my friend who was helping manage my team for me because I'm out there playing, he's like waving, like, he's pointing at her. So we brought her in. She threw one pitch. She got the save, a one-pitch save. Good job, Jessica Biel.
Okay, I got the lineup here, Kenny. Kenny Mayne, celebrity manager.
Against Harold Reynolds.
Against Harold Reynolds, legend manager. Why is he a legend and you're not a legend? That's bullshit. On your team, the Espressos, Fred Lynn. Baseball player there. That makes sense. Freddie Prinze Jr., also of Summer Catch fame. Am I right?
I think so.
Henry Simmons. He's from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., 2014, 2020. Howie Long. Jeff
Amen.
From Pearl Jam.
Who
Jessica
taught you how to
Biel.
wakeboard?
I got Keith Hernandez.
You're going to skip over Jonathan Lipnicki?
Oh, I got a good Jonathan Lipnicki story.
Okay.
So Jonathan Lipnicki is from Jerry Maguire.
From Jerry Maguire.
He played the son of Renee Zellweger, and Tom Cruise is the love interest there, and he's the human head weighs 8 pounds guy, right? He's that guy, and so we're in the locker room before the game, and I'm giving out the instructions, who's starting, what's happening, and I say, "Jonathan, Ozzie Smith will start at shortstop. You'll back him up, okay? You'll back up Ozzie Smith." He's like, "I got it." So we go running out to take the field to start the game, and I look up, and Jonathan chased him on the field, and he's standing right behind him. He's literally backing up Ozzie Smith. So we all laughed about it, and I was like, "Fuck it, just leave him there. He's fine. He's not going to do all that much." So
was this unironic?
No, he didn't know. He just didn't know the rules.
He was backing him up.
He backed him up.
Rick Fox is also on the team.
Oh, yeah,
Rick Fox, was Ozzie Smith, the Wizard.
Yeah.
Tug McGraw. I own a Tug McGraw Phillies jersey. I love Tug McGraw. Also related to Tim McGraw.
Yeah.
What is it? I got a case to make. Macon.
Okay.
Tim McGraw's catalog's better than Kenny Chesney's.
I don't disagree with that. Everybody tries to talk to me about how Kenny Chesney's music is not good, and I don't necessarily disagree.
I like Kenny Chesney, for the record.
It just takes me to a place and time in my life where I look back very happily. Speak of the devil, Renee Zellweger, you may remember, who played Jonathan Lipnicki's mother in the film Jerry Maguire, was married to Kenny Chesney for a period of days before she obtained an annulment on account of fraud.
I did not know that.
The year was 2005.
No way.
Yeah. Yep. At any rate.
Can you elaborate on the fraud?
Well, people made leaps, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Meatloaf also on the Espresso.
Meatloaf was a good guy and a decent player. There was another game where I almost killed Whoopi Goldberg. It was in New York.
No.
And Billy Crystal, decent athlete, he's out there. Spike Lee was out there. Chris Rock was on the other team. They falsely called me out. And Chris Rock admitted that I was under the tag. So just for the record.
By the way, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
on the lattes.
There was a bunch of good players, but I threw a ball into second in the New York game, and as soon as it left my hand, I was like, oh my God. Like I saw her and she's kind of like going like this. Thank goodness Billy Crystal popped on in, grabbed that ball.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Who's the best celebrity athlete you've come across?
Tony Todd. That was easy. He's the greatest. Google him. Google Tony Todd. Tony Todd. T-O-D-D. There's another gentleman.
Oh, yeah. I know him.
There's another Tony Todd who just passed away. Rest in peace. But this is Tony Todd, my friend. He's good friends with Charlie Sheen. He was in all Charlie Sheen shows. Anytime you see B-roll, like when they do file footage of Charlie Sheen playing catch, that's Tony Todd. So Tony played in several of those games. He was in Black Panther. He was in a whole bunch of different. He was in a Jackie Robinson story. So he's been an actor. Look at his IMDb or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Good guy. Best celebrity softball player. There's no one will touch him.
And yet, not the first Tony Todd who appears, as you mentioned.
I knew the other Tony Todd. All right, so hit us with the review of the Waterboys Charity Challenge. How was it, Kenny? Visiting Charlottesville.
10 of 10. Maybe alcohol was served. Let's say that.
Yeah, it was. I got you to go to a real.
I didn't want to.
Real life bar.
The day starts. I'm trying to be all diligent when I go to these things, and plus I was helping co-host. So I feel like I have some responsibility. So I'm calling everybody. Hey, I'm sorry I'm late. The bag got lost. They lost my clubs for a while, and they brought them out that night. So I'm trying to hustle over there to be part of the par 3 event, thinking I'm supposed to be with a certain group, and I'm really sorry I'm late. Nobody gave any fucks about that. Instead, It was, hey, Chris is down there. They're tasting bourbon. Oh, I guess we'll do that instead.
Yeah.
And it was powerful. But I did go to the par 3 challenge. And in fact, I threw to hole number 1. I was proud of that.
Yeah.
A lot of doubt. There was a lot of doubt about that. It was like 80 yards, 75 yards.
No, they hadn't seen the Wiffle Ball documentary yet.
And then the rest of it was great. I will say noisy crowd. I'm going to call out the crowd still. I'm on them forever. I don't like it when people go to big events where we're raising money for a good cause and they don't know how to behave. So I was asked by your girls, like, hey, will you go up there and yell at the crowd? And I was like, yeah, I'm already pissed. I settled most of them, but not all.
I just let them have a good time, Kenny.
Yeah, we're there for a purpose. Like I did that once at a Lenny Wilkins event where I just gave up on the crowd and brought Lenny up. Like, and now joining us is Lenny Wilkins, like an hour early, right? Just because we'd lost the crowd.
You ever hear Bill Burr in Philly?
No.
Oh, Philly, the crowd just wasn't having a good time, and he had like 20 minutes left in the set. And instead of saying fuck it and walking off, he just laid waste to him for 20 minutes. It is one of the Kenny. You and Gretchen need to listen to it. It's pretty incredible. But yeah, and then we took you to Dirty Nelly. Shout out Dirty Nelly.
Yeah. So we're done with the event. Overall went well. And I'm like, hey, I'm really tired. I'm excited for golf tomorrow. You're like, oh no, we're going on a bus to some bar at 2 miles away. There's like 90 of us. It was mandatory, but I made it. It was fun. The golf. I actually hit the ball pretty well. Here, I got one more beef with the whole thing.
Yeah.
The guy who won every award. He won long drive. He won putting. He won chipping. He won everything. And his team won the whole thing. Only to learn he's borderline professional. Like he's been in the Corn Ferry or the Nike or the whatever. And I was like, well, let's go throw footballs for money.
The guy looked like fucking Kenny Almonte to me standing up there getting his hardware. I shook his hand and I was like, you again.
Our team battled. We were a bunch of guys like better than me. Like I was the worst one. The other guys were a bit up.
Yeah.
We were all playing. We were playing, rooting for each other. No cheating, no mulligans. We were 11 under and that was good for maybe 5th place or whatever. Like they paid the top 3, but the winners, I mean, I'll just bring Jamal Crawford to the next 3-on-3 tournament. How about that? And then we'll win, and I'll get a trophy.
That works. That works. Honestly, it's there are some people who try to get the ringers in. Make, how was your 4 minutes? You know, there was a point in the evening.
Time out. Should I get this call? It's from Vancouver, Washington.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello, Vancouver. Come in. You're on the Chris Long Show. Hello? Yeah, no. You know what? I love it.
We actually called. We did a whole prank calling thing a couple weeks ago, and we were very proud of it. We call people sometimes on this show, Kenny, which is why we're pro. Like, pick up the phone. Like, you can be Adam Schefter on this show.
I kind of like that.
Yeah. So it was March 31st, and we thought it'd be fun to do
early April Fools. I get it.
Yeah, because our show runs on April 1st. So like,
I would have done it on March 31st. Not on April 1st. I hear what you're doing.
That's why it works so well. So we called like 7 people and told them that my large brother Kyle has joined the Army.
Oh, you told me that. That's a good brain.
Including my dad. So at the golf tournament, this is how you know it's a barometer for the bit landed. 7, 8 people walked up to my dad and were like, "Hey, sorry to hear about Kyle."
That's pretty good.
I
grew up doing prank phone calls.
Yeah,
we would call. So there was a radio station called KJR. They're still out there. This is back on their AM dial, and they would have what was called the cash call jackpot, and it was like a big thing. Like people, hey, KJR jackpot's up to $400. If you listen, you knew where it was, right? So they would call somebody who either entered or maybe they just called blindly. How much is in the jackpot? And you had to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we would play it like, I'd say, how much is in the jackpot? Between $400 and $500. They'd say 485, and I go, "Did you say 465?" And human nature, yes. I'm sorry, it was 485. It was people would fall for. Sometimes we would pretend they won. We would take their address, their social security number, and we're like 9 or 12 years old, whatever, young. The other one,
you guys were raising hell.
The other one was the fake hole-in-one in the newspaper. You could call the Seattle PI. Yeah, this is Bob Jones over there at North Shore. Some kid just hit a hole-in-one on hole 3, 181 yards. And they'd print names in the paper the next day.
No.
I have a friend who has like 5 career hole-in-ones, all fake.
No. That's so good. Any immature names?
No. We played it straight. We didn't try to do like holy fuck or no. Yeah, we didn't do
it. Yeah, dude. That's pretty good. I used to call the freshmen when I was an upperclassman at UVA, or the first years, as we call it, at this esteemed university.
Yes.
And I was Chip Reynolds. I was like the lead editor at the Cavalier newspaper, which, is real, but obviously I'm not him. And I would just see how long they would stay on stroking themselves and talking about their high school highlight tapes. And sometimes they talk for 40 minutes.
Oh my God.
So we'd have the whole group in there gathered around, trying not to laugh, listening. And so when you say you grew up doing it, we're still doing it at 40 and 30. What are you, 38, 39, Make? You 39 yet?
I'm 38, which makes me how many years older than Kyle?
Shit, about 3.
I think Kenny would appreciate this. I wrote for the local paper while in college, and I interviewed this baseball football prodigy, Kyle Long, one day, and I was recording him as a reporter does, and we go through, talk for 30, 45 minutes. It went well. And then I get a call a couple hours later, and it's Big Howie. And he says, "Why did you ask Kyle what his birthday is?" And I said, "Well, sir, just a little color to add to the story. I'm trying to paint a picture here. Use a lot of colors, And I thought, how do you know that? And he was like, "Well, you record him, we record you. There's us and there's them, and you're one of them." He had Kyle recording me while
Oh
I
my
was trying to
God.
interview him for a puff piece at the newspaper.
Is that fucking legal?
In Virginia, it is one party
It's not a
consent.
dual consent state.
Yeah.
Does
We
anybody
were-
know offhand what the dual consent states are?
No.
No.
Hey, you asked a question earlier. I never got a chance to answer about your worst moment.
Yeah,
I mean, there were many,
yeah.
but Dick Williams, when I was at my little station in Seattle, opening day, I go out. Remember Dick Williams, famous manager, Oakland A's, and he was with the Mariners. Google him. And I go up, and I think I'm going to be really funny, and this can be really funny that night on my TV. I go, Dick, is it just me, or have you had trouble purchasing wiffle ball equipment this spring? And he just stares at me like, fuck you, man. Like, that's not. And I said, the plastic ball and bat thing. And he's like, I know what wiffle ball is. Your joke's not funny. So then now I'm in a corner. I'm brand new. I've only done sports for like a year. And I'm like, opening day Mariners. Now I've totally screwed myself. And I'm like, so how does your middle relief look this season? Like I'm just asking anything to fill the gaps. He never liked me. The other one, same era. I've never admitted this publicly, but it's a good story. It's a lesson to the kids. Okay. I mean, marijuana is legal now. It's not
Free game.
deal.
It's free game, kids.
Yeah. Kids, listen up. Don't do what I did. I go to the West Regionals at the Kingdome. This is NCAA men's 87, 88, somewhere in there. And we go to the first game, and then I got to drive all the way back to Tacoma, which is about 45 minutes while the second game is being played. Somebody else is taping it. I'll catch up to it and get ready for my show. I decide that's a great time to smoke marijuana. I'm going to do that right now. And so now I'm driving all the way back to Tacoma. I get to Tacoma. The show's on at 10, so I'm on about 10:30, 10:40.
Yeah.
It's about 9:40, and I just sit at my desk for a long time, just kind of contemplating what a typewriter is. Like I'm doing nothing.
Yeah.
The producer's like, "Hey, do we have your rundown?" I say, "Yeah, it's coming. It's like in crayon." Now I'm not done. Now I'm on the air. Now it's 10:40. It's time for me to do those two games, and they ran the wrong game. So I have my notes for the first game ready to go, and they rolled tape number 2 instead of tape number 1.
Oh, fuck.
And now I'm like Twilight Zone, like wrong names, wrong schools, everything's wrong. It's wrong. I don't know how I got out of the jam, but
This is the second documentary. Is finding this fucking footage, dude. Seeing you high doing the news. Hey, I'm serious now. One time a couple years ago, and the Mannings haven't called back in a couple years to have me on the Manning cast, but when you agree to be on the Manning cast or before that, they have like people rehearse.
right.
They run you through rehearsals in preseason to see if you got it.
That seems a little much, but okay.
Yeah, well, they got a good little program there, Make, don't you think?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not knocking the Manning. I mean, if you already pick somebody who has extemporaneous qualities, trust the moment.
I think they want to see how you do with the delays.
All right.
And stuff. But anyways, I smoked a bunch of pot, and then I looked at my calendar, and in 2 hours, I had a Manning cast rehearsal. They asked me back.
Like you should have done it again then.
I guess so, man. That's pretty funny. Is that your best high story, Kenny?
Thinking. Oh, I got another one. Is that what the show's turned into?
No. The guys in the back are laughing, though. They like it.
I got to figure out how to tell this story. We had a niece who had medicinal for her situation she was in.
Mm-hmm.
And my ankle, as you know, not well. You've seen it.
Yep.
And I was having one of those particularly bad ankle days where every step, like I seriously went through, it's gotten better because I've done better therapy and I got my brace. But this day I was just in pain. Didn't even want to go to the soccer game. It was one of our daughter's soccer games. And Gretchen's like, just take a little bit of this. It's like you draw it in a little turkey baster thing, like a little, right? So I do, and we go to the game, and that's when it hit. And I swear to God, I thought clowns were coming out of the woods. Like, name anything, I thought that was happening. So now I'm utterly paranoid. You know how sometimes there's like a soccer goal off the field? They have an extra one for some reason, like sideways. I'm hanging on to that for life. Like, I'm just like stepping. Like, so I'm like, Gretchen, can we just go? Can we just go over? She says, what are you fucking talking about? Like, we're watching the game. She doesn't know what I'm going through. And I just grabbed her. I said, can we go over by the car now? And there's still like 3 minutes and a half. I finally explained to her why, and she's like, fine. So we go over there. I just wanted to be alone. I just wanted it to be us, no other human beings in the world, just us. And then we'll watch from up here, and we don't have to talk to people. No more clowns coming out of the woods. So we're up there at our little place. Just then, like 19 couples. Hey, how you guys doing there? It was rough. It was,
dude. That's the problem, though. Is like the weed you were smoking in Seattle in the early '80s isn't as good as the weed now.
Wait a minute. I have another marijuana story.
Okay.
The Sonics made the playoffs for the first time ever. This is about 75, 76, somewhere in there. 75, I think. My friend Mark and I decide we're going to capitalize on this opportunity and make millions of dollars. We're going to buy like 30 tickets when the tickets open. And this is back when there were physical tickets, right? There's no iPhones, nothing. So we literally take our hard-earned money and buy 30 tickets for like $10 a piece or whatever they cost. We're going to sell them at the game. Turns out the game doesn't even sell out because it's going to be televised locally, and people are like, I'd rather just sit at home. So we can't get rid of these damn tickets. This kid from Seattle takes like 6 of them for a bag of weed, telling us it's one hit, it's awesome. It turns out it's oregano. And I think we smoked like a half a bag of oregano.
No, you did not.
We just kept trying, and then his sister, Kelly, comes into the garage where we were doing this, and we immediately have to have a cover story. There's oregano smoke all over, but we start pretending that we're fixing the lawnmower. I think Mark had a rake. I had a spade or something, like, what are we doing? So a lot of marijuana stories out of me.
What did the oregano taste like?
Tastes like oregano. Tasted like a spice that would go in a food, but it didn't do anything for you.
Oh, man.
Now, my real stand on it, I don't think anything, people, in moderation, as the saying goes, right? You shouldn't be
definitely in moderation,
high and driving or whatever. But compared to alcohol, it remains slightly safer thing to be trying if you're going to do that, go to a concert, watch a movie, whatever the hell you're doing.
Hell yeah, I'm going to go to Billy Strings tomorrow night and need a couple edibles. Shout out to Billy Strings. Macon, you want to go?
Yeah, I like Billy Strings. Who was just?
You want to go?
Yeah, I'd like to go. Is what I said. I'd like to go.
Where's that?
5 minutes from our house.
Which? Who just postponed? Who was in?
Tyler Childers postponed. He's coming back in September. Hope get well soon, Tyler.
Oh, illness. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Keep talking. I'm just double checking. My daughter didn't text.
No, you're good.
You got all night. Gretchen's out there. She still likes me. That's the best part about it. That she still likes me.
Hey, what Kenny, as young men in the media game, is there any advice that you could impart onto us before we let you go tonight at some point?
Sure.
With all your experience.
Well, I'll start with this text. This guy says, hi, my name is blank. I'm a friend of blank. She shared your phone number with me, mentioning that you'd be a good person to connect with. I recently graduated from Washington State, and I've been actively seeking opportunities in the sports film industry. I wanted to reach out. If email works better for you, I'm happy to connect with you that way. If you don't mind sharing that with me. If you have any time to talk about opportunities or just get some advice, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much. I wrote back. This is about an hour and a half ago because I knew this was coming up. I'm happy to help. I have an interview in an hour or so, but if you're free now, I would do it. Otherwise, sometime this week. Thank you for the response. I appreciate your willingness to help. Unfortunately, I'm busy right now. but I'm pretty free otherwise this week. I can make whatever. I felt like I was kind of like, yeah, I'm a goddamn legend, but you know what? Right now it's fine. Just hit me up. Sorry, boss. A little busy over here as a college graduate. No time for you. Did I tell too many marijuana stories? Should I feel guilty? I don't feel guilty.
No, not at all.
With the
No,
sugar.
I did marijuana today on the river.
I did not. I didn't. I had a glass of wine. You saw me have a glass of wine?
Yep, that's great.
I'm eating dinner with my hand at this point. There's some chicken.
Chris, can I tell you how I wanted the Kenny Mayne interaction to go?
Yeah, sure.
The buildup was, people will ask, and by people I mean like one person a year will be like, who is your favorite guest? It's so cool you get to do that with Chris. And I was like, well, it was Kenny Mayne, because Kenny Mayne was my idol. He there was a confluence of various childhood traumas, and I sought refuge in sports and things that made me laugh. And that was Kenny. Kenny's the Venn diagram of those two things. So I'm like, let me just get 5 minutes with him, which will turn into 4 a little bit later. And I thought it would be better if you made the introduction. And you kept, by God, putting me off. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just go walk up to the guy, remind him we did an interview, a great one from 2021. If you want to go back and hear
Yeah,
that.
that's a good one.
Google it.
You'll hear the first time we heard Riley cruise through that intersection and say a lot of activity is taking place currently, which I haven't forgotten to this day. I'm glad to get the reminder.
Wait, did I say that on the 21 show too?
Yeah,
I might have.
Probably.
yeah, you did.
It's a great
Go back
story.
and listen to it. Yeah,
It's been 4 years though, so
Kenny, here's one. Kenny's the reason why in 2008 I applied for a job at ESPN. We were graduating college, and somebody calls and they literally quiz you. They give you a quiz like, hey, we're going to, for some PA job, we're going to quiz you on your sports knowledge. So I woke up, it was early, fairly groggy, and somebody says, about to ask you these 5 questions, answer pretty quickly. If you don't, it's not great. And the first one was, who are the last 5 Heisman Trophy winners? And so I said, Tim Tebow, I think you're breaking up. The person said, excuse me? And then I hung up thinking I'll get to Google the last 5 Heisman Trophy winners and be set by the time this person calls back. And nobody ever called back. And that was the end of my ESPN dream.
That's pretty
At
good.
any rate,
I didn't know that.
yeah. I was thinking last week.
That was quick thinking.
You suck, man.
Yeah.
So
Well,
when
you're
I went
gone.
back and had a similar test to be an anchor. They're asking me about the fucking White Sox middle relief or something. I'm like, they'll come in after the starter, they'll go a bit, and then the setup guy and then the closer just wrap shit up. I'm just making anything up. I don't know what I'm talking about. And I had flown, it was draft day, NFL draft day. So I flew all days. It's 8-9 hours when you count the flights, and it's late, and I'm not paying any attention to the draft. There's no internet. There's no iPhone to tell you anything. That's one of the how the Seahawks do in the draft. The only guy I knew was their first pick they had taken. I didn't know anything. They're just filling some holes, and they should upgrade at most of the spots where they place players as far as their emphasis. I say something like that. Just
You could
fucking
probably
stupid.
do that and still
So
make
dumb. No, I didn't get hired because of that. They thought I was deficient.
But once you're in the door, you can do that. I see it all the time.
Oh, I wasn't in the door yet. I was just in the door to get my tryout. So they sent me back and said, we'll keep you in mind, but you're not hired. It took like 4 years, 3 interviews, lots of bugging.
My weirdest job interview experience was, and Macon's heard this, at the NFL draft. My meeting with the Kansas City Chiefs happened in a little hotel room, and Herm Edwards sat in the fucking bathroom. The interview is occurring in the hotel room, Inside the hotel room in the back is a bathroom. Herm Edwards in a fucking desk chair facing the toilet, as I remember it. And I'm in there answering questions, and he's like partially visible to me. It's like a Ken Griffey Wiffle Ball
That's a
mystery.
weird movie.
I want to know what he was doing. Was that disrespect? Was he testing me?
That's strange.
Yeah, really strange. You know Herm Edwards?
I don't know him well. I remember getting turned down, and I was just trying to, as you were telling that, I can't remember what the story was, but it was, my fake NFL stories. Everybody kind of knew. They're all silly. He's making up stuff or taking a real story and going off a cliff.
Yeah.
And we wanted Herm to do a thing and whatever it was, and their answer was, he's a proud son of a military veteran, and he would never disparage the good United States of America. So what? That's not what are you talking about? We did one at the Jets with Chad Morton of the famous Morton family, Johnny Morton, Chad Morton, and Michael Morton, who I played with at UNLV.
Yep.
All 4-2-3 guys. They're ridiculous, all of them. And he had just run back 2 kickoffs for touchdowns. One was a kickoff, one was a punt in one game for the Jets. So we went to a neighborhood where there was a sign that said slow children, and he went to teach them how to be faster. That was our Chad Morton story related to the Jets, which you had brought up.
That's very good. Macon, anything else we should ask Kenny before we let him go? We
haven't even got, I'll continue. Yeah, I'll continue what I was saying.
Sure.
So I go to the godforsaken bar that I don't want to go to at midnight after this charity challenge. I've passed the challenge, because you say, no, you just need to sit down with Kenny. You don't want it to be quick. You need to sit down with Kenny. Like, this, all right. So I go to the bar and have a couple of domestic lights, and then get back on the bus and go home because it's far too irresponsible to be out that late. And then we get off the bus. I'm going home and look in, and Kenny's in the hotel lobby. So that's when I grab Kenny, and what do I say? I need you for 4 minutes.
That's pretty much what you said. Yep.
And then how would you say, Kenny, the next 4 minutes went?
I thought it was well. It was personal. It's something they'll all make fun of you for, but I thought it was nice, and it was a sweet sentiment. That's what I'll say.
And then I did the one thing which adults sometimes do is like I placed my hand on like your upper pec just for a second. Like I said something to you.
You did personal touch?
Yeah, I did one like this, so he knew I was serious.
Yeah.
So he knew I was sincere. Yeah, I touched him.
He doesn't touch people.
No, rarely.
He's like a.
I thought it was great.
He's like Walter if Walter was antisocial.
I can understand how your community there at the Chris Long podcast show will make fun of this forever. But in the moment, it was he was like, hey, man, I grew up watching you. Just want to let you know that, how you influenced me. And I just want to say it out loud.
But you're a good person to seek out and say that to, because you treat everybody like they're a real person.
I think that's why. So this just came up the other day. Somebody asked this in an interview, and I can't remember what, but that's why I thought I did okay, is because other than Stevie Wonder, who I was microphone shaking the first time I ever met him, I was never like blown away by any. Michael Jordan, you're a little, don't fuck it up, make sure to say it right. But most everybody else, who gives a fuck? They can run faster or throw farther or shoot better, or I can write stories better than you, and you're tall, not you.
Yeah.
Person, you know what I mean? Like,
I see my stories.
some other guy can fix cars better. Some other guy can hit golf. You know what I mean? We all have our skills. So I was never awed by their celebrity and just talk to them like regular dudes. And I think playing football helped, right? Like I kind of know how to behave in a locker room. That was my most comfortable spot, but it kind of transfers to other sports as well. And they know if you're treating them like another human, they appreciate that more than the people who are too reverential, right? There's too much of that sometimes. When you see like those podium interviews, I'll tell you what, when Bill Belichick used to scare the shit out of the people that would come, even the guys that came every week, they did not want to be the first guy. They didn't want Bill to bite their head off. So our story was going to be Tom Brady's on the injury report literally for 2 years. He had a shoulder, and they'd list them every week. I think Belichick was fucking with the injury report, so the league got on him. So he's like, fine, I'll just report everybody. We got 19 injuries.
We're all hurt.
Yeah. So Brady's literally been on with a shoulder for like 2.5 years, and our joke was going to just be, will he play this week? That was the whole joke. So the press conference starts. It's the Wednesday coaches thing. And I'm like, Coach, will 12 see action this week? And he's like, check the injury report.
Oh, that's beautiful. And there's no like, hey, that's Kenny Mayne.
No,
LOL.
it was honestly, they knew we were coming. They knew we were going to do some stupid shit. Now I'm in the press conference. I'm about to be stupid. But and Belichick's quick-witted enough to like come up with a quick answer. You know.
Oh, he's very quick-witted.
Yeah.
Got a chance to...
I used to host the Eclipse Awards for horse racing. It's like their Oscars, right? The horse of the year and all that. And one year Belichick's going to come out and do the presentation, I think, for horse of the year, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know him. I don't think I've ever even met him at that point. This is 2000, 2001 or whatever. Backstage, it was right after 2001. It was after they'd won the New Orleans game. And backstage, he sees me and he goes, hey, it's not a fucking roast. Just get me out there. So how do I not respond to that? So now I'm going to fucking him. So I said, whatever, they just won the Super Bowl. Who can forget his illustrious career with the New York Jets? And, he stayed there for one day or whatever it was, right? And he handled it fine. I think he almost wanted it to happen in a weird way.
Yeah. I got sidetracked there mentally because you brought up horse racing. And I definitely want you to make your case for Sandman.
Oh, good memory.
But before you make your case for Sandman, do the horses know that they're winning and losing?
Yes. I think the good ones know that, just like a dog on a walking trail who knows he's kind of cooler than that other shitty dog over there. Just kind of like, they're doing that. And
but do you think like Man of War knew? Is that Man of War is one of the horses?
Seabiscuit.
Whatever.
When I was in Vegas, they used to have these plastic horse race machines at the Stardust Casino. You put in 25 cents and bet on 1 through 8, and they'd have old school names like there'd be War Admiral and Seabiscuit, all these ones you've seen in the Bugs Bunny cartoons, right?
And too cute with it now.
I would take a paper cup, like the free drink paper cup, in the corner at some casino, and call the race into the paper cup so it'd sort of echo out of the paper cup. And we'd bet. And we would get, like, there'd be like a Japanese tourist group. They'd think I was the official announcer at the
that's
Seabiscuit broke alertly, just we were all over there. What was the question? Horses.
Well, I did Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit
wins. Does he know something good's happening?
I had nominated this
when he gets back to the house.
My idea was, if they win, they get to immediately breed. They get to have sex right after the race.
Yes.
And they know, wow, I want to win next time because I'll do that again. That'll be fun. But everybody told me thematically a good idea, but it doesn't work because once they've done it once, they're not going to want to race. It's the opposite effect.
Oh, so it's like boxing.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Some guys say they save it up.
Well, there were some other questions, I thought.
Other questions?
No, there was
we're
Belichick,
putting all our money
racing
on somebody this year.
Oh, yeah, Sandman. Tell us about
Sandman. Thank you. Yeah, I was trying to Google it fast to make sure he has not taken ill or had an injury that I don't know about because I want to be current. But
Or
Sandman, the winner of the Arkansas Derby, when people were watching their stock portfolios go away and just the insanity of the United States economy right now, I had advocated liquidate everything, bet it all on Sandman in this year's Kentucky Derby. This says here is an American thoroughbred racehorse who won the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby. Sandman could spark gallop, only turn blowers. What?
He's a 3-year-old colt.
Yeah, I mean, so far I see no information saying he won't race in the Derby, which, as we tape this, is not long from now, 2.5 weeks or whatever.
They haven't put him down. It's time to run. It's time to gallop.
I shouldn't have laughed at that in the same way you shouldn't have laughed about our fucking rabbit getting murdered by a hawk. Whatever that was.
Yeah. War Admiral, Man of War, like all these violent names.
Yeah. In fact, there was a horse called Violence. War Admiral. Let me think. Who else? How many Triple Crown winners can you name?
I actually can't.
Come on. We had
Period.
2 halfway recently. American Pharaoh. Remember?
Okay.
So, what year were you born?
1985.
Okay. Well, have you ever heard of George Washington?
Yes.
Okay. Well, see, it doesn't matter what year you were born. So in the 70s, my key decade growing up, Stevie Wonder decade, right?
Yeah.
We had Secretariat, we had Seattle Slew, we had Affirmed, and then it never happened again for many, many years. How many Stevie Wonder albums can you name from the 70s?
I can't, but how many Pink Floyd
Come
albums
on.
from the 70s?
The Wall.
Is it Ribbon in the Sky?
The Wall. That's a song, not an album.
Okay. Well, I can't claim to be a Stevie Wonder guy like you, although when I was a kid, I used to do this a lot. My parents would tell me to do Stevie. So, yeah, The Wall is certainly a good album.
Sure.
But Dark Side of the Moon in 1973 and Wish You Were Here in 1975 and Metal in 1971.
Those are all sound. Those are sound answers.
Sound.
Sound like good.
Well, I know, but like sound is an understatement when it comes to Dark Side of the Moon.
Fine. So, firstly, his album title, Music of My Mind.
Okay,
That's
got it.
where
Yeah.
he broke from Motown, he got to be in charge of himself. Then you got Talking Book, Inner Visions,
Okay.
Fulfilling This First Finale, Songs in the Key of Life,
That's the one.
Secret Life of Plants. Anybody?
Mm-mm.
Journey Through the Secret Life of Plants. Look it up. And then he caps it with 1980, which we started this program with, Hotter Than July in 1980.
I like Maybe Your Baby off Talking Book.
Oh my God. That's one of my favorites. Very little known. My friend and I, I went to junior college before UNLV, and they had kind of like this hokey spring dance, kind of almost like a prom, but it wasn't, My friend Warren Thomas from Oakland, California, and I decided it was time to go up to the band and tell them to play down, wow. Well, we taught them how to play the backup to Maybe Your Baby.
Yes.
And we went on stage and tried to sing it. And I know all the words, but
I've never talked to anybody else about this song.
Oh my God, it's one of my favorites. I'm feeling down and some kind of lonely because my baby won't let me in. Heart is blazing like a 5-alarm fire, and I don't even give a care. Want more?
Yeah, well,
I feel like the world is turning on me. That's a great song. How did you pull that one?
I just looked at the songs I have saved from Stevie Wonder that I listen to on the reg. Also, Macon, you can chime in with all the Stevie Wonder songs that you like as well.
Kenny's had 33 number one hits.
Kenny
You may
Chesney.
remember She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy or How Forever Feels.
I like How Forever Feels.
Come on. That's a good save.
Kenny Mayne, everybody.
Thank you.
On with the song, off with the song. Kenny, check out.
My sunglasses.
Yo, I got bad news about the sunglasses, Kenny.
They're expensive.
I don't know where they are, but you can have these. I bought these today before I went.
Baby,
Because
let
I
me
forgot mine.
in.
Do you want me to send you
Nine's
these?
the point. Wait a minute. How my glasses? No, I want my. I sent you a picture.
Yeah, they also have a picture. Like
They were up on the top.
it's a Jimmy Hoffa situation.
Did somebody break into your truck?
Were they in the truck?
Yeah, you drove me.
Yeah,
This is the dinner with Will Blackman.
I understand.
You picked me up.
Hey, you and I together,
Yeah.
it's a lot of lost stuff. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is, brother. But I'll tell you what.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny.
Get the music cleared.